Good day to you, child of God. This is the Remnant Seed Bible Study Channel. Welcome. I want to talk today about the 69th and the 70th week of Daniel. Highly controversial, the 70 weeks of Daniel. You hear so many wide varieties of interpretations. You'd think the book of Daniel came from outer space or something. I mean, that's really funny. And this is not a salvation issue or anything like that. It's just it's a matter of interpretation, and people like to know what's going on in the world around them. But, man, if there ever was a book that was misunderstood, it's the book of Daniel, along with the book of Revelation. So I'm going to try to make some sense of this for you today. So let's jump right into this. I'm going to start off with the 69th week. Daniel 9:26, and after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself. Now the next verse, you got the beginning of the 70th week, and I went over this 100 times, beloved. I just want to beat this in again. We're going to concentrate on just the 69th and the 70th week, and mainly the 70th week. And the people of the prince, this is the second half of the verse, that shall come and shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with a flood, and unto the end of the war desolations are determined. It's just saying right up until the end, these people of the prince are going to destroy the city and the sanctuary. And this just means simply the cities and the sanctuary of God, which is Christians. You are the sanctuary of the Lord after Christ, beloved. He said, destroy this temple and I'll rebuild it in 3 days. We are the temple of God, and in the millennium, Christ and Yahweh are the temple thereof. Okay, so then we go to let's go to Daniel 9:27, and he, this is the antichrist, shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week, and in the midst of the week, halfway through, he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease, and for the overspreading of abominations he shall make it desolate even to the consummation, and that determined shall be poured on the desolate. Now we have many variations of this abomination of desolation. I mean, there's so many different views on this. I think that somebody brought a pig in to sacrifice some pigs in the temple. Beloved, this is the abomination of the desolator. That's the way Moffat translates it. And when you're looking at Greek, I mean, it, who, he, she, he, I mean, they're all one word. So how it's the word that's used is determined in the sentence structure. And we're talking about the Antichrist here, the abomination of the desolation being set up in the temple. That's all this is speaking about. And this is none other than Satan himself, beloved. Okay, now when the sacrifice and the oblation cease is when many turn from the true Messiah to the false Messiah. This is when the sacrifice and the oblation will cease. And the sacrifice and the oblation of today is our love for Yahweh through Jesus Christ. Now let's go to Daniel 11:21. And in his estate shall stand up a vile person to whom they shall not give the honor of the kingdom, but he shall come in peacefully and prosperously, I added that, and shall obtain the kingdom by flatteries. And this is the MO of the devil, beloved. He uses flattery. He'll come up to you and say, man, you're the greatest thing since sliced bread. And then he'll proceed to stab you right in the back. And with the arms of a flood, which is a flood of lies, they shall be overflown from before him, and shall be broken. Yeah, also the prince of the covenant. Now this is the prince of the covenant. This is the prince of the air. This is the small prince. This is Satan. He has made a covenant with these people. And we're looking at this in Daniel 11. And Daniel 11 and 9 and 8, they all are repeating the same event, okay? And they just tell it in a different light. And there's a reference to this when he's cast out, and this covenant is actually broken. You got a reference there, 12, chapter 12, verse 7 through 9. And after the league, verse 23, or covenant or treaty, whatever you want to call it, made with him, he shall work deceitfully, for he shall come up and shall be strong with a small people. And beloved, this small people is the goyim, it's the Kenites. They are preparing the way for him to make his entrance today. These people, the small people, the goyim, the Kenites, and the locust army, all of them have combined together, and they've all joined forces into one convenient giant army called the locust army. All of these people are working for Satan in the world today and are not hiding it anymore. They parade their evil in the streets and they shake their fists at Almighty God. Should be obvious that they have made a covenant with the devil himself, and they've infiltrated almost every institution in America and the world today. And how do they do it? They make a covenant with you and then they'll stab you in the back with it. Okay, let's continue. Verse 24 of, let's see what this is. We're still in Daniel 11. Let's go to 24. And he shall enter peaceably, even upon the fattest places of the province. And this is just saying this could be the most protected places, or the best places where the most riches or natural resources. So he's going to come in peacefully of the providence, and he shall do that which his fathers have not done, nor his fathers' fathers. He shall scatter among them the prey and spoil and riches, and he shall forecast his devices against the strongholds, even for a time. And notice this, beloved, it only says a time. And a time could be a year or less. And I believe this is a reference to his time on this earth, which I believe is only 5 months long. Okay, and so he's gonna come in peacefully, and everything he does will be through deception, beloved. Make no mistake about it, and that's how he takes over. It's all about deception, him claiming to be Christ. And then behind the scenes, he's talking to all his little goyim and all his little followers, and all of them know exactly what's going on. He has set the world up for his second overthrow, and they're preparing the way for him right now, beloved. Just take a look around the earth right now. They are preparing the way for this joker. He's going to take over with asymmetrical warfare using politics, religion, banking, and education to subvert the nations without firing a shot. And this is found in Zechariah 1:18, the 4 hidden powers. And he shall stir up his power and his courage against the king of the south with a great army, and the king of the south shall be stirred up to battle with a very great and mighty army, but he shall not stand, for they shall forecast devices against him. They that feed of the portion of his meat shall destroy him, and his army shall overflow, and many shall fall down slain. And both of these kings' hearts shall be to do mischief, and they shall speak lies at one table, but it shall not prosper. For yet the end shall be at the time appointed. Then shall he return unto his land with great riches, and his heart shall be against the holy covenant, the holy people. The Christian covenant, the covenant that we've made with the Lord. And he's got his own covenant going with his own children. And he shall do exploits and return to his own land. Okay, verse 29, at the time appointed he shall return and come toward the south, but it shall not be as in the former or the latter. So you're getting a preview of what's coming. It will be unlike anything we've ever seen. That's basically what's being said here. This is going to be unlike anything we've ever seen, and this is going to be Satan taking over the world with deception, claiming that he's Christ. For the ships of Chittim, and if you look at this word Chittim, these are the bruisers. This is one of the first prophecies in the Bible. The bruisers shall bruise the head of Satan. Okay? And they're going to come against him. Therefore, he shall be grieved and return, having indignation against the holy covenant. So shall he do, shall he even return and have intelligence with them that forsake the holy covenant. In other words, some of these people are going to turn against God and turn towards Satan. And he's going to get intelligence on what God's children are doing at that time. Because Satan doesn't have any insight into God. Satan cannot read minds. And arms shall stand on his part, and they shall pollute the sanctuary of strength, and shall take away the daily sacrifice, and they shall place the abomination that maketh desolate. So in other words, this is when the Antichrist stands in a holy place and claims to be God, and they're going to sacrifice to him and quit giving their love and sacrifice of love to Jesus Christ at this time. And let's go to verse 32. And such as shall do wickedly against the covenant shall he corrupt by flatteries. But the people that know their God shall be strong and do exploits. In other words, the ships of Chittim, the elect, the remnant, they're all going to stand against Satan. And they're going to be exposing his plans, just like I'm doing right now. And they that understand among the people shall instruct many. Yet they shall fall by the sword and by flame, by captivity and by spoil many days. And I'm prepared for it, beloved. I'm prepared. I've already died twice in my dreams. And one more time is no sweat off my back. I'm ready. Now when they shall fall, they shall be holpen with a little help, but many shall cleave to them with flatteries. You notice this word flattery is used a lot. This is the MO of Satan. He comes in and says, you're the greatest thing since sliced bread. And turns around and stabs you right in the back with his knife. And some of them of understanding shall fall to try them and to purge and to make them white, even to the time of the end, because it is yet for a time appointed. And the king shall do according to his will. He shall exalt himself and magnify himself above every god, and shall speak marvelous things against the God of gods, and shall prosper till the indignation be accomplished, for that is determined, shall be done. This has all been determined. The times, God knows every one of these times, beloved. Let's go to Daniel 12:11. And from the time the daily sacrifice shall be taken away, and the abomination that maketh desolate set up, there shall be 1,290 days. Okay? And this is the time when the Antichrist stands in a holy place and declares the sacrifice and your love be directed at him. And this is saying that this is going to last 1,290 days, but I believe it's been shortened, beloved. If he was here for that long, even the elect would be fooled. Now, blessed is he that waiteth and cometh to the 1,305 and 30 days. And that is a 45-day difference, beloved. And I believe this could be pointing towards the time that the Antichrist is here on the earth. If you make it past that, you will make it to the seventh and final trump. Okay? And you will have, at that time, if you haven't worshiped the Antichrist, you made it. You made it through. Because you've waited patiently for the Lord. Here is the patience of the saints, beloved. You wait patiently for the true Messiah. And that's what these warnings are all about, is preparing you to reject the false Messiah and to, with open arms, openly love on the true Messiah. All right, Revelation 12:6. And the woman fled into the wilderness, which is the church, where she had a place prepared of God, that they should feed her 1,260 days, 1,260 days. And you got 1290, you got 1,335. You got so many differences in these days. But basically, these are all referring to this time of trouble, time of Jacob's trouble, and which is really the time of Antichrist personal appearance on the earth. And that's what we are speaking about here. Revelation 12:14, and to the one were given the wings of an eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place where she's nourished for times and a half time from the face of the serpent. Now, I look at this, could this be 3.5 years or 3.5 months? I'm not sure. I don't think it's clear, beloved. When interpreting Daniel 9:27, don't overlook the words in the midst of, which means in the midst of the last week, halfway through the week. The week being a 7-year period, and half of 7 is 3.5 years. The time has been shortened from 3.5 years to 5 months, not 7 years shortened to 3.5. Keep your mind open to the 5-month period as well. It could be subject to the grace of God. All right, let's go to Revelation 13:5. And it was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. There you have it. Now, this is speaking specifically to Satan because it's using the term months, and everything given in months is attributed to Satan. Everything to God's children is given in days. Okay? In Revelation 9:5, we got here, went over this a million times. 5 months is the time of the locust. Okay? And this is all we're covering is this length of time here, beloved, not going into anything else. And then you got it again in Revelation 9:10. Those are only 2 times we got a time, the length of this time mentioned. And that's what I'm going with. Okay? So the rapture clowns believe Christ comes back to get them in rapture, and then the tribulation starts and lasts for 7 years. And where do they get this from? It's a misunderstanding of Daniel 9:27. They believe the last week in the 70-week prophecy is 7 years long, and this is the length of the Great Tribulation. You'd have to use the same logic with the first 69 weeks, which is proven to be over 2,000 years. If you're going to use that same logic with the last week, then you'd have to use it with the first 69 weeks. So it doesn't make any sense to be really dogmatic about the length of this time, beloved. They're all subject to God's grace or his perfect timing. Messiah was cut off on the day of his crucifixion, and that was the beginning of the 69th week. If you believe the 69th week is lengthened to over 2,000 years, then why can't you believe the last week could be shortened to 5.5 months or 5 months or whatever it's shortened to? It says it's shortened. Can't overlook the words in the midst of in Daniel 9:27. He told you it was halfway through the week, which is 3.5. And I'm repeating again, beloved, and I do this on purpose. The Great Tribulation has been shortened for 3.5 years or 42 months to 5 months. The tribulation of Antichrist will be shortened to 5 months, but the period before his entrance could be considered as a tribulation as well. A pre-tribulation. We could call this a pre-tribulation period, which I believe we're already in, and his owner preparing the way for his entrance as I speak. And you could see these knuckleheads doing it right now, beloved. It's like the whole world is preparing the way for this false Messiah. And the apparatus they're going to use to make you believe that he's Messiah is already in place. This propaganda machine. And old Goebbels would be proud of the mainstream media we got today, beloved. They're nothing but a bunch of liars. Nowhere in Scripture does it say that the Great Tribulation is 7 years long, and I dare you to find that. In other words, these weeks ain't necessarily week long, and you have to be careful when the number 7 is used. The Antichrist comes in the midst of the week and starts a daily oblation or communion to Christ and declares himself to be God, and everyone take it to him. That's what everything is pointing to here, beloved. Sacrifice and oblation are the Old Testament terms to use to describe Jesus' sacrifice, which hadn't been fulfilled in Daniel's day. But God knew it, beloved. We're just talking about terminology here. The last week of years in Daniel's 70-week prophecy was never 7 years long. 7 don't always mean 7. I repeat that a million times, beloved. It's perfect timing. Perfect number, perfect perfection, and God can only know the true length of this time. And 5 is the same way, beloved. And how many times a day do you need grace, and have you called on God's grace? No matter how long the tribulation is, God's grace will get us through it, and that's the point. Let's go over Revelation 16:12. And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water therefore was dried up, and the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. And I saw three unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of false prophet. For they are spirits of devils, working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and all the whole world, to gather them to battle of the great day of God Almighty. Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that waiteth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked and they see his shame. And he gathered them together in a place called Armageddon, Hebrew tongue called Armageddon. And beloved, I believe these unclean spirits have been released. And this angel, that these things have been released. And that's why we're seeing such an outpouring of evil now. Okay, we're right here, beloved. We're so close to the end. I just can't state it enough. I feel such a state of urgency, beloved. Now, in summation, the last week or the 70th week will be unlike any other time in history. Although many scholars agree the last week has been shortened, they will never give you the time it's been shortened to. Many of these same scholars believe the covenant spoken of in Daniel 9:27 is between Israel and surrounding nations. They also falsely conclude that the two princes spoken of in Daniel 9:25 and 26 are one and the same. This is a huge error. One is Messiah and one is the false Messiah or Antichrist. One is the people of the small prince and the other is the people of the big prince, the Lord God Almighty. The real covenant spoken of in Daniel 9:27 and 11:23 is between Satan and his people, the goyiem and others who have sold their souls to him and the end times. Halfway through the last week is when he will make his move to stand in the holy place and claim to be God. This is the period that will be shortened to 5 months. This is the time Antichrist will make his personal appearance. Every person on earth would be fooled by this supernatural being if this time were not shortened. In Mark 13:20, and this is the verse that tells you, if these days weren't shortened, no flesh would be saved. And then the verse, he says, beware, for there will be false Christ. Lo, here is Christ. Lo, here is Christ. People running around saying Christ is here. Christ is there. Believe him not, beloved, if you can still pinch yourself. Christ has not appeared. And if they're running around saying that, believe them not. Daniel 8:22. Now that being broken, whereas four stood up for it, 4 kingdoms shall stand up out of the nation, but not in his power. And in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance shall understand dark sentences, shall stand up, and his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power, but by his power to deceive and claim he's Christ, beloved. And he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people. And through his policy, he shall also cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart. By peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. And we got the rendering of E.W. Bullinger here, beloved. And he gives you his understanding of what's going on here. And I would take E.W. Bullinger's word over anybody's, beloved. I'm not going to read that. You can go over it yourself if you want to. But this is one of the appendixes in the companion Bible, and good old E.W. Bullinger is one of the greatest scholars of our time, beloved. Okay, so that's the end of this lecture. I just wanted to kind of reiterate this. I've done many works on this. I just wanted to focus on this final week and what we are facing right now, beloved. We are facing an onslaught of preparation of the children of Satan, preparing the way for him to make his entrance. Look at the world today, beloved. this evil, they have all joined forces together. They've made a covenant with each other. And that's what is being spoken of by Daniel. This is a covenant between Satan and his people, not Israel and nations of the world. You got it wrong. You got it wrong. This is a covenant. You could see this covenant with these people. They were in lockstep with each other, beloved. I mean, it's just exponential, the evil that's just pouring out right now. It's hard to catch up with it. I mean, it is so awful, everything that's going on in the world today. So anyway, that's it on this lecture, beloved. Much love from me to you, and we will see you on the next one.